Welcome to our fourth event here at Gone Broke Racing. This week we travel to the western side of Australia at Barbagallo Raceway. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Armando Edwards sets the pole with a 54.808. John Colbert Jr. in second. Surprisingly, Hooper will start third with Hawks in fourth. As we go through the rest of the lineup, the top 7 positions in qualifying are separated by just over 0.2 of a second. So the competition gets closer and closer as we continue on with this season. So Barbagallo Raceway is another short track. As you recall, last event we raced at Pukekohe, which those were just about 1 minute laps as well. And as you can see, this is going to be a very tight grid, 25 cars today. Several of the drivers have commented just how crucial it is to qualify well at this track. Limited passing opportunities because it's so narrow. This will be a double header. This first race will be 23 laps, no mandatory pit, followed by a 35 lap, 1 mandatory pit stop race. So let's head down to the start finish line, waiting for the green lights, and here we go! Lots of tire smoke as they power off the line, trying to get to that turn 1 180-degree corner. And Edwards easily pulls into the lead, gets a very good start, followed by Colbert, Hooper, Hawks, and Green. And we got a battle between Sweeney and Dawson. Back up to the front. They round the sweeping right-hander, turn 6. This corner seems to never end. And then they'll come back up the hill, down the back straight. And then approach turn 7, where you'll see several cars jump the outside curb as they try to maximize exit speed down the front straight. Battle between Genghis and Moore. Contact. Moore is off in the dirt. Side by side, going through the S's. Starting to go up the hill. And Moore goes off track. Goes right across, cuts right back in front of everybody else. Somehow misses everyone. And it ends up just about where he left the track. Unbelievable. And Hooper's contesting Colbert for second. Colbert with a nice crossover move. Both run wide, jump back over the curb. And a little dive there by Colbert. On board with Hooper. Some very aggressive racing by both these drivers today. Shows you just how much they really want this win. Watch the cars sweep through turns 3 and 4. And Moore going off track again. Cuts back across. Slams into the tire barrier. Destroys the front end of that car. That's too bad. Hopefully he's okay. And this is newcomer John Nelson. Battling up here for 10th. Tucks in behind Dawson and gives him a little bump. And that sends Dawson off into the dirt, but Nelson lets him back in. And this is Pat Sweeney taking a look on the inside at Hawks here at the last corner. Minkler just behind, power sliding through it. Sweeney and Hawks side by side down the front straight. And he makes a very nice pass. That will move him up to 4th. So here's our leaders going by, Edwards and Hooper. And you can see there's a pretty good gap now. And there's Colbert in 3rd, just coming up over the hill. Sweeney in 4th. It's a lap car there. And Hawks in 5th. this large pack, 5th through 12th. Look how tight that group is. Separated by just a second or two. And who's this? This is Nelson again. Tried to look to the inside of, I believe that's Jim Troy. Backs off a little bit. Lap 10. Hooper's been stalking Edwards for the last few laps. And looks like he does have a good run on him. Coming back up the hill. The drivers giving each other a little bit of room. Edwards has to go wide. Hooper gives him a little bump, just about spins him out. But Edwards does a nice job saving it, and he'll hang on to the lead for the time being. And lap 11. Hooper continuing. He's getting a really good jump on that turn 6 exit. Gives Edwards another bump. Now he's going to try to use the slipstream to his advantage, but doesn't have to. Edwards is going to dive into the pit, so interesting strategy. Some of these guys are going to go ahead and pit this race, even though it is not required. Tire wear is very rough on this track. It's mid-pack, Sheldon and Capon having a nice battle on board with Sheldon. Sweeping right-hander side by side, and Capon gives a little too much room and goes off track, and he'll lose a couple spots because of it. So our current leader Hooper will in fact pit, so that will bring Colbert up to the lead and Sweeney in second. What's this? Sweeney's trying to pit on the wrong side. So here's the deal, this track was reconstructed about a year and a half ago and moved the pits on the other side, and apparently Sweeney did not get that memo, so he just lost a ton of spots. That's very unfortunate. And Green has been really pushing Hawks all race long. Looks like these guys are going for a no pit stop strategy. And Green on the inside, Hawks tires starting to get real loose here, and that will allow Green to move up to third. And now Nelson is coming right up on Hawk's bumper, so Hawk's really starting to struggle with his tires. On board with Nelson. Great shot of the cars going through turn 1. Using every bit of track. It's very narrow, so it's very crucial that you use a lot of the track. That's Lang goes off, slides right in front of Hawks. Hawks gets held up, and Nelson takes advantage, side by side. And Nelson gets spun off track, into the wall he goes. So, I'm not sure. Let's take a look at the replay. So, Nelson had a good run, and I think Nelson thought he had Hawks cleared. Hawks was all the way on the outside line, and Nelson kind of pushed his way right in front of Hawks, which unfortunately spun him off. That's too bad. Real tight group for 6th here between Yallo, Genghis, and Troy. And Troy goes off, comes back on. Genghis looking to the inside of Yallo. And the drag race. Who's going to let up first? Who can break the latest? That's the key. And Genghis broke a little too late and got into Troy. And then Troy's just an innocent victim here. Gets taken out by those other two having a good battle, but looks like Troy will get back underway. So, final lap. Hooper will take the victory with Edwards in 2nd, Colbert 3rd, Green 4th, and Hawks in 5th. here are your results. So that'll do it for our first race. Let's get ready for our second one. 35 laps, 1 mandatory pit stop. Same starting order as last race based on qualifying, and we're underway. And everybody gets a very good start, very clean. And Colbert and Edwards side by side. And Edwards manages to squeeze in front of Colbert, and Hooper is able to pull up in front of Hawks. So the same positions as last race. Colbert already taking a peek to the inside. I know he definitely wants to take that lead as early as possible. Right up on Edwards' bumper using the draft. And here we go. He's going to try to make the pass at turn 7. And he does. So that'll move him up to the lead. And you can see some tire smoke there. That's one thing Colbert's really struggled with, is tire wear. He tends to lock up his brakes quite a bit, which hurts him towards the end of these races. Here's a cool shot of the curb cam at turn 1. And this is Sweeney and Juliet. This is for 7th. Sweeney pushing hard to get around Juliet, but his car's getting a little bit squirrely there. And once again, mid-pack, we have a very tight battle. This is 11th through 17th, separated just by a couple of seconds. And back to the battle between Juliet and Sweeney. Juliet goes off just a little bit. Sweeney to the inside, power slides through, and is able to make the pass and move up to 7th. Shot of the cars coming down the hill. This is Eddie and Sheldon. On board with Eddie. Brakes a little bit later, locks him up, is able to keep it to the inside curb, and does indeed make the pass. So this is a battle for the lead. Edwards been creeping up on Colbert. Gonna try to the outside. Edwards very good at the outside pass, we learned in the race in Adelaide. Guys giving each other some room. What little room there is here on this track. Colbert again locks him up. Contact. Hooper's just waiting to pounce. Again, this is images of Adelaide all over again. And Colbert somehow is able to hold on to the lead for the time being. There's Hooper just watching them burn up their tires, waiting for the opportunity. This is lap 10, and Edwards is able to move to the inside there, makes it stick, and will move into the lead. And Hooper was looking for it as well, but I think Colbert wisely dives into the pits early on, so looks to be a 2 pit stop strategy for these guys. And now Edwards is going to pit on lap 14. And that will put Hawks and Green in the lead, who apparently may be on a 1 pit stop strategy. That's what's made this series a lot more exciting this season. So everybody has a little different strategy. He's on board with Sheldon. That's Sherburne right in front of him. Side by side, little bit of contact. Sheldon going to the dirt. And looks like Sherburne will hold that position. That was for 12th. Just like last race, Green has been stalking Hawks. Just waiting for him to make the slightest of mistakes. And indeed, Hawks goes wide, definitely starting to lose some grip on those tires. And Green will move into the lead. Kurt Lang jumps the curb, spins it out. This is just after turn 1. Back end's in the middle of the track as the leaders come by, but he's able to get it back off the track to avoid any type of collision and waits for a clearing, and he'll get back underway. Battle for 8 between Sweeney and Sherburne. Very good battle here. Sherburne is a little sideways there, and Sweeney will move up. And what is this? Edwards having some electrical problems. He had to pull off for a few moments, and he's going to drop a couple of spots and lose several valuable seconds, and that will allow Hawks to move up to 3rd. So it doesn't appear Edwards' problem is terminal. His car seems to be fine now. That was weird. And this is on board with Dawson. This is for 9th. That's Sherburne right in front of him. And Dawson gets into the back of Sherburne, sends him into the wall. A little reverse fortune from the race at Simmons Plain where Sherburne took out Dawson. And he'll pull off and allow Sherburne to get back around him. And this is Reagan. He's had a rough day. That car is beat to heck. But he's still going around the track trying to get some points. Battle here between Diamond and Sherburne again. He's been involved in a lot of action in today's race. And that's Genghis right behind him. Coming to the final corner here. And can Diamond hold the position? And he does. But Genghis gets into the side of Sherburne and sends him into the wall. So Sherburne just kind of getting beat around today. You have to go lick his wounds and look to the next race. Looks like Edwards is going to pit, and that will allow Hawks to move back into the lead. Colbert right behind him, along with Hooper, Green, and I believe Juliet's not too far behind, and they have much fresher tires than Hawks does at the moment. It's Kurt Lang off track a little bit. Robert Lang takes advantage and makes the pass. Battle of the two brothers. Kurt tucks in behind him there, goes way wide on the curb, and hits the wall. Car goes completely airborne, flipping end over end. Hopefully he's okay. We need to get a medic down there to take a look. Let's look at the replay. Holy smokes. Look at that. Car must be 20 feet in the air. Luckily, Kurt's okay. He'll walk away from this one. Very fortunate. And back up to the front of the race here, and as I suspected, Hawk's tires are starting to fail him. And Colbert makes the pass and takes the lead with just 7 laps to go. Lap 30, Hooper pushing hard, has very fresh tires. Looking to the inside. Gives Hawks a little bump. Hawks definitely hold him up here because he's really struggling to maintain that position. Hooper getting less and less patient as the laps wind down. Another bump, a third bump. And he's going to try to pass on the outside where there is no track. Hawks moves over, gives him a little bit of room. And Green's right behind him, on board with Green. And sure enough, Hooper does make the pass, but can Hooper work his way back up to Colbert? Hawks was able to hold that position for about 3 laps. And this is Green side by side with Hawks on lap 31. Just 4 laps to go. Gives him a little flash of the lights to let him know he's there. And Green will move up to 3rd. So Hawks dropping down the order very quickly. He's the hold off Juliet. And here's the battle for the lead. Hooper has worked his way up to Colbert with just a couple laps to go. Hooper has his nose just a little bit in front. Colbert staying to the outside. Goes way wide there. Still holding the position. Brings a little bit sideways. Being a little bit more patient here, but is definitely running out of laps. He's got to get around Colbert. Colbert trying to hold the line. You can see, this is on board with Colbert. You can see Hooper all up in Colbert's mirror. Got some lap traffic up ahead. And this is the exit of turn 6 where Hooper's made several passes today. And they got to contend with a lapped car here. Colbert gets around. The lap traffic does a nice job moving over to let the leaders by. It's a little bit loose. And Colbert's going to take the dive. Hits the back of Hooper. Power slides through the corner, and that's going to make him lose some valuable momentum here. And I think Hooper is gone. So, valiant effort by Colbert, but not quite enough to knock off the defending champ. So final lap, Jeff Hooper will win this race. Colbert will take 2nd, Green in 3rd, Hawks 4th, and Juliet in 5th. Hooper takes his 4th victory of the season. Here are your results. And the current standings, Hooper already after just 4 races has a dominating 124-point lead over Edwards, with Colbert currently in 3rd. Well, thank you for tuning in to another GBR presentation. Next week we travel to the United States for a little Southern hospitality, where we'll get our first look at the new Circuit of the Americas.